YouTube. Hey, we've kind of sort of gotten our whole thing going. So Allegra is going to join me here on Instagram in just a second, but we're live streaming right now on Facebook. And oh, look at that, a reminder. So she'll be joining us just a second here on Facebook. And thank you for joining us. Myself, Natascha Corrigan, and Alegre Ramos. We are together, BYWD, Beyond Your Wildest Dreams. So welcome. Thank you. We are committed to, our number one thing is to help you learn to prioritize yourself, save time, and achieve your goals. That's what we're about. And we do that through our books, our workshops, and our courses. And so we're here every Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. And we're here to talk to you and answer any questions you may have. Jump in on the comments. We'd love to see what you have to say about anything. Either A, let us know how you're doing, your wins, your questions, your challenges, and we share what's going on with us and what's in the world of living a life beyond your wildest dreams. Yay. So, yes, join me, please. Join me on Instagram. And we're just going to, seeing what's up in the world of living a life beyond your wildest dreams. She's in, folks. She's here.
Yay.
Oh, right. And so, hi.
And we are back in our places because we have our yellow and our flowers. We've been traveling a bit this summer.
Mm-hmm. So sometimes you've seen one of us solo. There was one week there that both of us were traveling. It was just not possible to do a Wednesday. We were both out of the country at the same time. And so it was just not a thing. So hi, everyone.
Yeah, hi. And Natascha's mentioning our books. I have them in the background here on YouTube and stuff. You can see them, but and Instagram, you can't see them. We're going to have to figure out a way to put them right here.
Just suspend them with
They'll be like Princess Leia buns, on the side of my head.
Yeah, earmuffs. We just need
So the first, if you feel like you don't even have a second to yourself, then the book you should check out is Rock Your Morning, 3 Simple Steps to Take Control of Your Morning. This is all about creating a self-care ritual that takes care of your needs. And by self-care, we don't mean the occasional massage or mani-pedi, although those are great things. We're talking about the things that you need to feel fed emotionally, spiritually, physically, whatever that may be.
Literally.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, what's so crazy is that my morning ritual is even more important to me on days like right now it's the summer and our normal routine is out the window, right? And because of that, the ritual is almost even more important than on the days where we're back in our regular kind of school year schedule and things are a little bit more, routined out,
Mm-hmm.
That ritual, having a ritual is been so important, especially when I was traveling. There are aspects of that ritual that just went out the window, but there are aspects that really stayed, and it was interesting to find that out too.
Yeah. It actually helped me feel when we were traveling, and there were days where we were moving from a place to a place. We were on a tour, and we were moving from a place to a place every day. And it can be very discombobulating. I'm the sort of person who likes my space, right? I know there are some people who are very nomadic and they're great at a different city every night. And to me, that's the 7th rung of hell. I'm like, where's my glass bottle with my face oil in it? That stuff grounds me. And so having a little bit of my ritual with me, helped to ground me. But then there are parts of your ritual that are just you can't do away with, right? Such as supplements. I was not a supplement taker until I entered my 40s, when supplements go from a good idea to a absolute must, right?
Necessity.
And so those are things you can't do away with. They're essential because literally my daily physical experience is vastly different if I am not taking my supplements. And the thing with supplements is that you have to take them for a while to notice a difference. And so I think a lot of people don't get past that point because sometimes it can take as long as 2 months
Oh, that was totally me. That was totally me for forever and ever. I'd be like, I'm going to take the supplement. It's going to, and I would like take it for 2 weeks and then it'd be like intermittent. I'm like, these are dumb. They don't work.
Right.
And that literally was me for like years. Like I'd be like, this is a great idea, and I'd be taking it for not enough time, and then finally I'm talking about this one supplement because like my knee joints are not awesome. And then finally I was taking them for like really regularly, and really regularly for me is like 5 to 6 days out of 7 days a week. You know what I mean? Maybe
Right.
not even perfectly.
More often than not, though, that's huge.
More often than not, which is definitely huge for me. And then all of a sudden I'm at a wedding. I brought flats with me, of course. Because I knew that I wasn't even gonna wear heels, but I was performing at the wedding. I'm like, all right, I'll wear heels for this part, and then I'm gonna switch to the flats. And I know I was walking back to the car at the end of the wedding, and I still had the flats in my purse, and I was like, oh my God, my knees didn't hurt at all. Holy moly, supplements work. But this was months into it, and so like I was like, wow, they really do work.
Yeah.
But
but it takes a while. And so we include things like supplements in self-care. One of my favorite self-care things that might surprise people is that I like to clear the dish rack first thing in the morning, because I like to have that aha moment of, oh, right, my counters are clear. It's so beautiful.
You may not get the other part of the day, so
never. Right? There's like 10 or 15 minutes when I'm the only person awake in that part of the house, in the kitchen area. And so I just get to enjoy the like clear, I like sip my warm lemon water facing one direction.
You're like, I block out everything else.
Right.
Mental health, you know what I mean? Do what you got to do.
Yeah. And actually it's funny because when my husband, that just reminded me of a story. When my husband and I first moved into our house, we're very DIY. We enjoy putting ourselves into, I see my camera shut off.
I just lost you on the other feed. There you
Weird. Go. Okay. We like to do things around the house. And so we were landscaping part of our yard, and we had only landscaped, one area. And so we would literally sit outside, point our chairs towards that one area and just say, oh, isn't that beautiful? Forget the construction zone. Over here. Yeah.
Well, that's very motivating though, too, right? Is to focus on your wins, right? And we actually talk about this a lot in our course, where like, and our monthly course correct, which if you haven't been joining us the last Sunday of every month, we take an hour to take a look at our month and see what we have accomplished. And the first thing we do is go over our wins, big and small, right? And so it's so important to like focus on the, and if that win is, I have a clear dish rack, you know what I mean?
For 10 minutes in the morning.
Yeah. I have clean countertops. I have a third or a quarter or an eighth of my backyard landscaped. You know what I mean? Then focus on that. So motivating, right? To see what you're able to do. That's me right now too. Like we're doing a construction. We haven't really gotten the construction part yet, but I've got to empty out this whole closet, right? And we rearranged our linen closets, blah, 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 blah. The hallway right now is a disaster, but the cabinets, I mean, I should send you a picture.
Put a picture.
There's even like space left, just like empty space. That's just like, like I'm telling you, and guess what? My picture that I took of it is just the cabinet. You know what I mean? Like, right. So, which is just right now, it's giving me life, as the young kids like to say. It's giving me life right now.
Oh, is that the new terminology?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I totally get that, because we've been doing a kitchen remodel I can't believe I can say that it's been a couple years now that we started this kitchen remodel, and we're doing it very sustainably because that's my background. And we're reusing as much of the old cabinetry as possible and repurposing wood from other people's cabinets and stuff. We literally bought almost no new wood for this remodel. Yeah. And the thing was we were blazing away, and then my husband got this great opportunity at work, and there was a finite amount of time that he could take advantage of this opportunity. And so we said, okay, well, guess the kitchen, the new drawers, right? Because he had built out this cabinet all with repurposed wood. and it had open shelving, but he needed to do the drawers because I'm a huge fan of drawers. It gives you so much more space, right?
Yeah, it's so much better than cabinets in certain areas.
So much better than cabinets.
Mhm.
You can really utilize all the space.
Mhm.
So, it's my kitchen has been totally functional, but it's all been this open shelving, which is not as functional, one, and two, also visually it's very like, yeah.
totally.
I'm like, I was constantly looking at flour and herbs and whatever.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine, I just want to say shout out to this company, drawerdepot.com.
What?
They build drawers. Literally, they'll build just the drawer.
Like just the drawer box.
Yes.
And like, oh
yes.
my God, that's genius.
Yes. And this was one thing that he was going to have to buy some wood for, right? Because we just didn't have the right sizes.
Right. Yeah. It's important you got to get it right. Like it's good to purpose, but if it's just not going to work.
He was going to have to buy new wood anyway. And so I placed an order with drawerdepot.com, and
I love them.
10 days later, magically appeared these drawers, and my husband got them in less than like 2 afternoons, basically got them in. And now I have drawers. You have to see it.
So excited for you because I know, because folks, I've seen, and your remodel has been amazing. I've loved all the choices that you've made around like just materials and colors and patterns and all the different things that you've been, because I know you've been like, talk about, if we talk about vision boards or action boards, as we like to call them, like,
yes,
Allegra has put the time and the thought and the energy and the excitement into this kitchen, and it is coming forth. You guys have really made some really incredible choices, and B, like sweat equity into that kitchen. I cannot wait to see these drawers because because that's like basically the last thing, right? That was essentially it. That was the last.
Yeah, that's it. That's the last bit. It's like the light at the end of the tunnel. And they're fantastic. I literally will walk into my kitchen and just open a drawer to look at.
Come with like the hardware too. Like, did you buy that separately? The sliders or whatever?
Okay, so now I get to talk about one of my other favorite things, which is Buy Nothing. Right? Oh, I am a huge fan of Buy Nothing. If you don't know what Buy Nothing is, it's an organization where it is just a group of, it's people that live around you. There's a very limited location, and you literally just gift and ask for things. Yeah.
So right now we've been purging. I can't even tell you how much stuff has gone out to the Buy Nothing, and every single time someone comes to pick up something for me, I just do like a little dance because I'm just kind of like, yay, you didn't have to buy that. I didn't have to donate it. This is so great. Like, keep it out of this like consumerist loop.
Yeah.
Makes me so happy.
It's so wonderful.
Tell me you got drawer
so
slots.
I got more bamboo drawer dividers than I needed. I actually have 2 left, which I'm saving just in case. And they're so great because it's a piece of bamboo, and then like the last 3 inches is expandable.
Yes, I've seen those.
And it looks it looks like they were made for my drawers because like the tone of the wood matches. And so I was totally able to customize all my drawers with these drawer dividers.
Y'all, our kitchen remodel is like not top of the list priority right now. This is what we're doing right now but like, I'm like, in a couple of years, this is what I'm just like, oh, tell me more about your bamboo divider.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I was sending pictures to, I'm in a group chat with some of my closest friends, and I was like, how sexy is this photo? And one of them was like,
girl,
and I was like, oh no, that's sexy. Yeah. So another thing I got from the Buy Nothing group was that someone who had done a renovation years earlier had this new in box insert for knives, right? So it sits in your drawer. And it's the veneer on it is bird's eye maple, which is one of my favorite woods.
Oh my goodness.
And again, matches the tone of our drawers.
Amazing.
And literally, okay, so get this. It literally has the exact number of slots as knives that I own.
Oh my goodness.
Exact.
Your Buy Nothing is magic, guys. My Buy Nothing is great and I love it and stuff, but like, ain't nobody got stuff like that on my Buy Nothing. I'm telling you.
The exact
but your
number.
Yeah. And y'all, if you're not in a Buy Nothing group on your Facebook, yes, you absolutely need to join, because you can't even believe the things people give away, A, and B, you'll feel so great about giving away those things that like you just don't use anymore, but it's in still good shape and you know a family could use it, or you know what I mean? Like it's just out of control. Like no shade on like donating. Donating is great, but what you're doing there is you're giving your stuff to be sold by something else, right? So it's
and not always, right? Because they determine if it's valuable or not.
Right. And sometimes it winds up in the landfill anyway. So at
Yes.
least on the Buy Nothing, you know that this family or this person is like, hey, I really do need a drawer
Yes.
insert, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
And also you can get rid of things that you wouldn't even believe you could get rid of. For instance, some of these knives were in a knife block because I didn't have space for them in my drawers.
Mhm.
But I personally do not like the look of knives visible, right? Like my mom loves the magnetic strips that you put on the wall and you put the knives there. And
Yeah.
like, that's just not, I just don't like knives.
Yeah, I have a knife
visible.
block too. It's convenient, and that's the main thing. And I just don't have the drawer space to put the
Yeah,
knives.
same thing, right?
Let me tell you, if I had like a drawer knife block, I would be using that too, because
Yeah.
it's not my favorite, but it is convenient.
Yeah. So I put the knives in this new insert and I had this knife block and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put it on the vine. Like sometimes I even have that thought, like I'll just donate. And I was like, no, because if I donate, it's probably never, immediately. Someone wanted it immediately. And then another thing, I had probably like 200 antique keys that my father, clearing out my father's stuff. My father was a little bit of a hoarder. And Buy Nothing. I 10 keys here, 15 keys here, 20, just
so people using for like craft projects
for craft projects. I actually put one on my key ring.
Oh, that's
nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was able to get rid of all the like 200 keys. Like, so things that you don't think you can. And also sometimes people are like, hey, that insulation that comes in a box when you order from a food delivery company, I need that for blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, great. Here, so
It's wild. I know you've told me stories about like somebody going like, I had my birthday yesterday, but I'm never going to finish this other half of my birthday cake. Who wants it? And people even grab the birthday cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. So,
or here's another thing I love. I love the YouTube show Hot Ones.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband loves hot sauce. So I bought a bunch for him and we did our own little Hot Ones tasting with wings and everything. And their hottest sauce, I was like, this is not fun, And so, yeah. And we literally probably use like a milliliter of it. And so I put it on the Buy Nothing and I said, hey, this is too hot for my family.
Somebody took it. Yeah.
Yep.
Genius. Can't recommend Buy Nothing enough. Like seriously cannot. And you will be shocked at what people will put up and what they'll take, You'll
be shocked and awed.
Shocked and awed. Exactly. Yeah. Huge fan of the Buy Nothing.
And it was started by two moms for the very specific reason that a lot of moms have, experience, which is like, my kid is growing too fast to actually use up these clothes, this toy,
totally. And we've always had a friend who like, we took their hand-me-downs. We had friends but it's so funny. The kid that we used to pass the boys' hand-me-downs off to grew faster. And now he's in the same size as my youngest. And so we didn't have that pipeline anymore because by the time we gift the clothes to him, it's too small for him anyway. So it's been great to be able to give it to other families that could really use it.
Yes. And I have bought hardly any clothing for my child since the Buy Nothing, which was so great because she went through this crazy growth spurt where her feet grew 3 inches in 1 year, which I did not know was physiologically possible.
That's insane. I know. Seriously, my son's feet are now bigger than mine. Like for a hot second there, I'm like, oh, you could wear my sandals or slippers or what, like my slip-ons around the house. And now his toes are like up past it. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, you have flippers. You don't have feet. My husband keeps going like, we have to get him into swimming. I'm like, I think we're just at this moment, it's all going to catch up at some point. He's not going to stay Michael Phelps forever.
Yeah. So it's amazing for that. And so anyway, we went from self-care to Buy Nothing to whatever. Our second book is if you're just like, I have this professional to-do list or personal to-do list that is just out of control and I don't know how to strategically attack it. This will tell you how to strategically attack it.
Mm-hmm.
And you will, literally, we've done a lot of podcast interviews with people who are like us into productivity and goal setting and stuff. everyone always learns something from here.
Yeah.
So
I have to say, like I mentioned earlier, we're starting this like, remodel project here in the house. And the last 2 days, and I also mentioned too, like, because, it's instead of school time, the boys are at camp. And so it's just wildly different. It's not my regular day, right?
right.
If I hadn't time blocked the last 24 hours and today too, which is one of the things that we talk about in our book, 3, 2, 1 Done, as one of the tips that really is super helpful. If I hadn't done that, the day would have just gotten away from me. And yeah, I would have gotten some stuff done. But one of the great things too, I want to mention about the time blocking is, especially, of course, like today I have a bunch of appointments. So those things are hard.
Can you hold it up so people can kind of see?
Yes, absolutely. So this was my time blocking from Monday. Okay. So like, it's kind of maybe hard to read when I just cut, but this is, so I'm, like I have here, like my morning stuff, and then it's like 15-minute increments. I put in like laundry, walk the dog, make a smoothie, do a map of footprint, because then I had some plumbers and electrician appointments. They just keep pouring in. I started time blocking them in.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing is that like, and then I have like, and I gave myself 30 minutes to remove this rod and reinstall it somewhere else, and 15 minutes to transfer the clothes from one closet to the other. So, and here's the thing, did I always get it boom right in that little 15-minute increment? Not always, but what's great about it is because you can see I put arrows. It didn't happen here. So I put arrows to block it somewhere else. So aside from like having these set points where it's like, okay, definitely have this plumber coming at this time, although
right.
they might show up or they're early.
Right.
We'll put that aside for a second. And then I time blocked my day around it. And what happens for someone like me, I can get really easily distracted, like super distracted. But because I blocked it in here, and even if it didn't happen in the 15 minutes that I had originally intended, it still was like, quote unquote, an open tab. And I just found another spot to put it in. And it really helped keep me on point. Because like, I start answering these electricians or plumbers back, and the next thing I know, I'm on my phone, and then all of a sudden I'm scrolling, and the next thing I've gotten distracted. But because I had my day blocked, it was just wildly more efficient than and then of course, like a day like today where like I just got like appointment after appointment after appointment. It's a different kind of day,
right?
But there is some space in here, right? And so after I get done with something else, I have my list on the side of my to-dos, and I can see like, okay, this can fit here, that can fit here, that can fit here, right?
Right.
Instead of it just being like this big open space that I'm just kind of like, well, what am I going to do?
Right. You're like,
or like, well, I'll just do what I think, like, oh, I'll just do it as I get to it. When you time block it, there's just a different, aside from, we love to say this, like you make your to-do list to get it out of your head and put it into existence in space, like make space for it, right? But to put it in time is a whole nother level, and really helps you stay on point, and really helps, it helps me immensely to go ahead and actually get the stuff done. And I have just had insanely, amazingly, wonderfully satisfying, productive days in the last few days because of the time blocking. And I'm very much aware of the fact that like the first day of school is coming, and there's a lot of stuff that I can get done between now and that first day of school in a different way, because camp is a different animal than school. So
right.
So I actually have more time now during the summer, which kind of, I know is the reverse for some parents, but just so happens the way things are working out for us this summer. I'm like, ooh, August 15th is like my deadline to get like a whole bunch of stuff done. And I am like determined to use it as efficiently and productively and joyfully as possible.
And we don't tell you what to put where either. Like if you want to time block in a nap.
Oh, heck yeah. No, I have time. I definitely have time blocked in here. I have like my smoothie time, right? Like I have time blocked in my smoothie, which is like, and because otherwise also
it might not happen.
Right. And I'll forget to eat sometimes. And the next thing I know, it's like 1 PM. I'm like, I'm starving. And then I just shove cookies in my mouth.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I mean? So I have definitely have time blocked in here, self-care, like we started our conversation with.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so it's just a great technique. We don't tell you how to use it. We just show you how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we promised last week that we were going to talk about Ikigai, and unfortunately we only have 6 minutes left. So I don't know if we're going to give it its due. So
let's give it an introduction.
Let's give it an introduction. So Ikigai is a Japanese concept that means a reason for being. And Ikigai is all about lining up the overlaps between what you're good at, what you can get paid for, what the world needs, and what you love. And look, you don't have to use all those overlap points if you don't want to. Like, for instance, there are lots of things that I do that are, something I'm good at, something I think the world needs, and something that I love to do. And I don't feel like I need to get paid for that because it's important to me, right? So, the what you can be paid for, I feel like really any of the circles, you can kind of, play with how important they are to you, because maybe you're not someone who's motivated by money, or maybe you're not someone who's motivated just by things you're good at, right? However, I did think it was interesting, this Ikigai concept, because one thing that you've probably seen this Venn diagram before of like what you're good at, what you can get paid for, and it's usually 3 things, right?
Mhm.
But I feel like the 4 is a little bit interesting because they also talk about what you might be missing if you only have 2 or 3 circles overlap versus all 4. And
Mm.
when all 4 overlap, that's when you have Ikigai, which is a reason for being. And again, what you can be paid for kind of irritates me because so much of being a parent and caregiver is not paid for, right? And we talk all the time about invisible labor
Mhm.
and how the American economy would not work without the unpaid labor of many caregivers. That aside.
I know. I'm listening to that. I'm listening to Pay Up right now. I'm just,
Oh my gosh.
girl,
Everyone read Pay Up.
Pay Up.
It's an amazing book, and definitely follow its author and her movement, Moms First, because this is the direction that we need to go in order to have more equality in our country. And
Johnny, right? That's
yes, Reshma Shaw's Johnny. Yes, because caregivers need to be compensated for what we bring to the table.
right. Not just valued in like, but with lip service, but valued. Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, so one of the things I like about Ikigai is that it mentions the things that you might be lacking if you don't have perfect crossover. And I have a little bit of an issue with one of the Ikigai descriptions, but we'll get into that next week. And in
Just
fact,
look it up. Ikigai, I-K-A. I-K-I-G-A-I. Yeah, Ikigai.
Yes.
And you'll
Ikigai.
see a bunch of these, you'll see the graphic, and it makes
the like Venn diagram
sense. You're just kind of like, oh, got it.
And so if you're kind of at a stage in your life where you're thinking, I have all these things I'm interested in, but I'm not sure where to spend my time, I feel like Ikigai is a really useful exercise to go through. I actually graphed all of the different jobs that I've had, jobs and businesses, into Ikigai. And it was very interesting for me to be like, oh, this is why I felt lacking in this area. And this is why I felt lacking in this area. It just kind of helped to clarify things for me. And so we'll talk about that more next week.
For real this time.
Well, I mean, we'll get through it.
Yeah, let's not nail ourselves down to that, I suppose.
Yeah, but it's a cool tool. And, we always like to share, Natascha and I are students of brain science and productivity and goal setting. So we always like to share the latest of what we're thinking about and reading and learning about, because, hey, we just feel like the more people who know this, the better, because
100%.
Yeah. Especially as caregivers, because whatever you learn, you're going to pass on right to your children.
Absolutely. Yeah. They see what they watch, right? They're seeing,
they're little sponges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're watching.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I feel like we should talk about some stuff that maybe our kids have been learning this summer, because I feel like there's been a lot of interesting stuff. Sorry, my camera got a little tilted. There's been some interesting stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Well, my child's been going to camp, and she, so in camp you meet new people, right? So although she's homeschooled, she does have groups of friends that she sees regularly, because she does extracurricular activities, and there are these homeschool play dates park days that she goes to. And she also does take a couple of classes, academic classes at a learning center. So she sees people regularly. And so, when you see people regularly, you kind of work out your issues, right? But camp, it can be a completely different group of kids every single week, right? And so I guess this week there's been an issue with, there's been a person that she really likes, and then there's been a person that she'd kind of like to get to know better. But the second person, so the person that she gets along with really well is a boy. The person that she can't tell if she's friends with is the girl. And she feels like the girl is trying to monopolize the boy's time and excluding her in the process. And I said to my kid, well, first of all, you can't control what happens. All you can control is how you react to it, right? Which is like one of the most important life lessons ever. I feel like we should like set off fireworks around this.
You cannot control people, places, or things. You cannot control people, places, or things.
No, just how you react to it, And I said, and secondly, the funny thing is that a lot of times what we interpret as aggression is actually defensiveness on the other person's part. And I said, it's more likely that she just doesn't know how to get to know you, and she's feeling awkward, but she knows this other kid. And so she feels comfortable with him. And so she's just like, you're kind of an unknown quantity. And I said, so next time you perceive that and I was like, by the way, I just want to say perceiving, because I don't think she's purposefully excluding you. I think that's how you're perceiving it. I said, next time that happens, say to her, hey, you know what? Is it possible for us to find a game that the three of us can play together? Because I'd really like to get to know you better.
That's great.
And so she's really good at implementing things like this. Like, for instance, the first time we go to something new, I will often talk to her in the car and say, so what kind of icebreaker question are you going to ask today to meet new people? She'll be like, I'm blah, blah, blah. My favorite animal is blah, blah, blah. What's your favorite animal? I'm like, great.
That's so cute.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll see. I'll report back next week how that technique worked for the couple days left of camp this week.
Yeah, that's so great. That's really great that she's able to assimilate and implement what you're talking about too, because that's where the rubber meets the road, and you find out what's happening.
Yeah. And these are things that are taught and learned. Right. I feel like our society makes this has this false belief that you should just know how to do that stuff. And it's like, no, these are things I've learned, and I am passing it on to my kiddo.
Yeah. And definitely skills that, like, I don't think I didn't learn that early in life.
No,
I learned that much later.
Yeah. Me too. I would say in my 20s and 30s, I learned that. So helping your kid know that now, think about all the trauma you're going to help them. Yeah.
Yeah. Huge. Well, we'll see you all here next Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 Eastern. And we look forward to ikigaiing with you.
Bye.
Bye.